All right, let's go ahead and get started. Today's webinar is on creating your own marketing plan. And I went ahead and put together a real quick little template marketing plan. And what I'm going to do though is I'm going to open up a new spreadsheet and kind of show you how to make one of these marketing plans from scratch. So let me get the screen sharing up here. Hold on one second. All right, now first of all, in order to do what I'm showing you today, there are a couple things that you would need to have. You would need to have a Gmail account, and if you're in your Gmail homepage, then what you can do is you can click on Documents up here at the top, or you can just go to docs.google.com. As you can see up here in the address bar, it's docs.google.com, and that will take you to this page here where you can open up a new document. Now, the reason that I really like these is I like to have spreadsheets that I can share with other people. It really helps, especially as you're building a team and or if you just want to keep yourself accountable to somebody. It really helps to use Google Docs. Now, I know it's not the most technologically advanced solution. I realize there are other ways to do a marketing plan where you can share information, but since most of our agents are independent agents and you don't have the resources to spend $500 a month on some expensive sharing program, you can use Google Docs for free. Everything I'm really going to show you today is actually free. Let me just show you how to use Google Docs real quick here to create a new spreadsheet. This is being recorded, by the way, so you can go back and watch some of the numbers that I put in. But if we go create spreadsheet and click on this, now here it gives us a untitled spreadsheet. So you can go up here and click on the title and type in, I'm going to put in marketing plan 2 since I already made marketing plan to show you. Now here's how I create my marketing plans. First of all, I like to track my marketing plan by week and also by month. So I have two different tabs is the way that I set it up, is having two different tabs. I have one tab for the weekly and I have one tab for the monthly. So I'll go down here to the bottom to the tab and I'll click on rename, and then I'll make this one weekly. Hit OK. Then once I get everything typed in the way I want it, I'm going to copy it and make a new tab called monthly, and then that'll be my monthly tab to track the marketing. But here's what I do. Up at the top, I put in here week ending up at the top. And then what I do is up along the top, I type the week ending date. Now for me, the week ends on Sunday. That's just how it is for me. I always have the week ending on Sunday, and the first day of the week for me is on Monday. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this Sunday, I believe is August 5th. So I'm going to put 8/5/2012. So that means all the data that is in this column is going to be for this week ending August 5, 2012. Then what you can do, I'll show you a little trick. If you go equals B1, click on that cell, plus 7, that's going to take you and go that one plus 7 days. So that way you can do your week ending. You don't have to type them all in. You can just hit copy with this one here. You right click, hit copy, and then go over here and highlight a bunch of them and hit paste. And that's going to automatically put in your week ending dates. Now the months are a little more difficult. You do have to actually type in the month up here at the top for each month. But again, it's not as difficult because there's not as many months to put in as there is week ending dates. But I like to do this by week ending date. Then what I do is, for my marketing plan, I track a couple of different things. And I'm going to go through those with you real quick. I might go back and reference the one I was working on earlier every so often here, but I'm going to go through and do these. First of all, I track my walk-ins. All right. So what I'll do is I'll go on here and I'll highlight these and make these bold. These are my headers. Then I'll put a little dash here, and for my walk-ins, when I walk in, I'm going to put in here new contacts. Oops. And you'll start to notice a pattern with this. I pretty much do the same thing for each one. I do new contacts, then I do statement, and then I do sales. So what I want to find out here is for each of these categories that I'm going to put up here, the way I track my sales in my marketing plan is for my walk-ins, I first of all want to say how many new contacts am I going to make this week and each week after that. So you'd want to go through here and plan out each week. You know, maybe there's a week you're going to be on vacation, so obviously you would have 0 contacts there, but you can go through and put in your new contacts. Now, I'm going to put in here a number of 50, and I'm going to say that you're getting 50 new contacts a week. Very doable. That would be 10 contacts a day. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make the rest of these down here formulas. And I'll show you how to do that. If you want to make a formula, it's very simple. The asterisk sign is a multiplication sign. And so what you can do is you can go equals, and then you click on this one up here and go times. And then we're going to put in whatever percentage of new contacts you believe you can get a statement from. Now, most agents will tell you that they're going to be somewhere between 10 to 25%, really depending on their sales ability and their market. So of the new contacts, business owners that you speak to this week, how many statements will you obtain? And overall, you should average somewhere between 10 to 25%. So let's put this at 0.1. If it's easier to see for you if I go 0.1, I mean. So this is going to equal B3 times 0.1. All right. Now, the nice thing about that is if we go back in and say, I think we actually are going to make 60 contacts, and I can put 60, and it automatically changes the number of statements I'm going to get to 6. All right. I like to use the formulas for these spreadsheets because then you can go back in and make one change and see what the impact will be. Okay. Next, we're going to go down to sales. Now, as a general rule, I find that I close, most agents are going to close between 30 to 60% of the statements that they receive. They're going to close those and make those into sales. All right. So let's say that we take the number of statements that we're going to obtain times 0.5, so 50%. So now you're getting 2.5 sales that week from your walk-ins. All right. Now, a couple things that are very important to do. Now that you've done that, what you want to do is you want to go, this is your walk-ins. Now, what you want to do is you want to create an actuals section. Now, what I like to do is just right-click here and insert one. Right-click here, insert one. And then what I do is I put 2 dashes and I put, actuals. Okay? Same thing here. Actuals. Now, once the week is actually done, I can go back in here and key it in and say, okay, I actually had 47 contacts. I actually got, 6 statements, and I actually had 2 sales, from that. So I can go back through and look at my actual numbers. All right. Some of you guys that are really good with spreadsheets, you can come up with a lot of creative ways to do this. Usually I'll do something like I'll do a background color on these. Like I might do a light gray color like this. So I would go here and here. Whoops. Sorry. We'll go here and we'll do a background color, and we'll go here and do a background color. Okay, so now these are going to be set off from the actuals. So just a little trick for you there, but that'll help you. And then some of you might also make a section called your variance section, where you can see your variance and how far off you were on each one. But just a simple plan like this where you can just track your progress. You have your contacts, how many statements you're going to get, how many sales you're going to get from your walk-ins. Okay, the next section that I usually track is my telemarketing. So all that to say, telemarketing is a great add-on to your marketing program, and that's where you're going to put this in telemarketing. We're going to track our leads, how many statements we get, and how many sales, and we're going to plan that. And then again, same thing. We're going to right-click here, insert one above, insert one above, and let me just copy this, paste, 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 and there's our actuals. Okay. You go down through here and highlight these different ones. If you want to, again, if you want to make these have a background color, you could do it like that and give them a background color. And again, some of you guys have a lot, have great, skills with the spreadsheets. You can do a lot more stuff with it. But this gives you an idea of those 2 categories and the numbers that I would use to plan those out. So when you're planning your campaign, right here with these 2 items, we now have 3 sales a week that we're getting from these 2 items. Now I'm going to give you 2 more categories. Now let me stop right here and say, for some of you, this is the only 2 categories that matter, and you could literally make your entire marketing plan with just that right there. That's it. Okay. Now let me show you something else you can do. These ones here that have a formula, like this one where the statements are a certain percentage, you can copy those hit copy, paste, go right here and go copy, paste. Now we have these formulas pasted all the way over. Then all we have to do, if you're going to go to the same number each week, you can just hit equals that cell B3. Okay, so we're basically saying column C, or the next week, is going to equal the same thing as the first week. Then we just copy that formula, copy, go over here, highlight this right here and hit paste. And now we have a marketing plan for the next 7 weeks, it looks like here, okay? Now what's interesting is you can go down here and you could even make a totals column. If you want to do a total formula for all the contacts, you can hit equals the sum. And again, I am recording this, so for those of you that would like to see more about this, and you just highlight the whole section that you want to do. Now we're going to copy that formula, paste. Oops, sorry here, hold on. Went down there. Okay, here we go. Now I hit paste here. Okay, now this is what's interesting. This is what I really wanted to show you. You can see that over the next 7 weeks, if we make 50 contacts each week over the next 7 weeks, then by the numbers that I have in here, and again, you can adjust them. Your numbers might be a little different, a little higher, a little lower. But if these numbers are correct, then we're going to make 20 sales over the next 7 weeks with our walk-ins, just walking in off the street. But notice what we can do. We can now take this one cell and change it to 60, and we can see the impact of that, okay? If we do 60 contacts a week, we're going to get 24 sales, okay? What if we make 100 contacts a week? Well, we're going to have double the number. We're going to have 40 sales. What if we went down, and what if we were only able to make 20 contacts a week? All right, well, now we see we're only going to make about 1 sale a week if we're only making 20 contacts a week. So again, you can see how that if you just change these numbers around, if you do the formulas like I showed you, then you can change this one cell B3 up here, and it's going to show you everything over here. All right, now in the telemarketing leads, again, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to click on these here, they're formulas, and we're going to hit copy. Go over here and go paste. Copy, paste. This one, copy, paste. Then this one, we're going to say equals the one right next to it. So then if I copy and paste that, it's going to equal the one right next to it. This is going to equal the one right next to it, etc. all the way over. Now we have our totals, which I'm just going to go copy, paste, and this is going to paste our formulas in, and now it's going to add up. So now it's saying over the next 7 weeks, if we get 32 leads, and by the way, 7 weeks isn't a particular number, guys. I'm just kind of building this so you can see how to build one. You would probably do it for obviously much longer than this, but so 7 weeks, if we get 32 leads, we're going to get 16 statements, and we're going to make 8 sales off of our telemarketing effort. All right? Okay, let me just show you 2 other sections. Now, again, you might not have these sections in your marketing plan. I do think that if you're serious about this business long term, it would be very smart for you to have these sections and at least begin to start working on them. Here's what they are. The first one is our email campaign. Okay? Our email campaign. Now, some of you have not yet started collecting email addresses, and if I could give you one tip for your long-term success in this business, or really any business at this point, make sure you get some email addresses and start collecting them. Even if you're not going to do much with them right now, at least start collecting them. I have a whole webinar that I did recently. You can look in the webinar archive that talks about how to use MailChimp and create your own email lists and email campaigns, so you can see how to do that. But I do track this number, and I'm going to give you guys some numbers that you might find interesting. Now, here's what I do. First of all, I put in here email addresses. Now, here's how I do this as far as setting a goal. Let's say that right now I have 100 email addresses, all right? I'm going to try to gain that number. I'm going to try to get an email address from at least 10% of the people that I talk to, all right? So here's what we do. I'm going to show you a formula. And again, if you guys don't get these formulas, you can just type it in manually. But if we go equals the sum of this one right here. Okay, so in other words, what we already had the previous week plus a new set of parentheses plus the number of new contacts we made that week times 0.1 Now notice the parentheses there. You can see what that is. Equals the sum of the one that's next to it plus 10% of the contacts we make that week. All right? So that gives us 105 email addresses. Okay? Now we can simply copy and paste that formula, and it's going to show the growth of our email list. And so this is our goal. So if you start a MailChimp account, which is free, and you start getting some email addresses, then you will, this would be your goal. And every week you would go in and you could put right here, you could put your actuals. Whoops. You could put your actuals, and then you could see. So you say, okay, this week I had 100. Then the next week you say, oh, I had 106. The next week you might end up with 109, whatever it might be. And now you can track the actual number of email addresses that you have. Now here's some numbers that you might not know. Leads from that. Now, when I send out an email campaign, I usually get between 1 to 2% response rate on that, all right? Usually it's closer to 2%, so I'm going to use that number. And I only send an email campaign out once a month. So here's how I would do that. I would take the first week of each month. So in this case, this week, August 5th, and I would go equals the number of email addresses times 0.02 or 2%. And I see that I'm going to get 2 leads that week. All right. So I find that if I send out email, if I have 100 email addresses from local business owners and I send something out once a month, I'm going to get about 2% response if I use an email that calls for some kind of action. And again, the action I'm normally calling for is receive a free cost comparison. I also try to give things away for free. Claim your free equipment, claim your $500 guarantee that will beat your rate, that kind of stuff. So my email I send out once a month will have a really good information. I usually share some stories. I try to share at least one story of a current customer that had a positive feedback, and I'll try to include their positive feedback, maybe even do a video of them giving me positive feedback. And then I will have in there some more information about, things about running their business and how credit card processing will play into that, and news about electronic payments, and just try to establish myself as an expert in that industry. And then I'm going to have a call to action in that email. I'm going to try to get them to click on that email and go somewhere, or I'm going to try to get them to reply to the email and ask me for a free estimate. And I find I'm going to get a 2% response rate. So we can now copy that, and then we go to the next one, which is the first week of September right here. This is where I'm going to send out, because I always send it out on the 1st. So now we see we went from 2 leads up to 2.4 leads per month. Now, here's what you'll find, though. As this number grows and as you start getting more and more growth in your email list, then you are really going to get a lot of leads. And you could get to the point where you're getting 10 leads a month just from your email campaigns that you're sending out. So this is an important part of your marketing plan if you utilize it. Again, the other part of this is the webinar I did on MailChimp, so you understand how to set this all up. But I'm going to put that in there, leads. Then, of course, I'm going to have my statements and sales. Now, when I get a lead off of an email, I get a statement literally every single time. There's a few times where I don't, but usually if they're responding to my email, then they're responding to it because they specifically want a free cost analysis. So I'm definitely going to get the statement. So what I do is I just say equals the one above it right here. So 2. I know I'm going to always get a statement if I'm getting a lead. And so now we see that when I copy and paste the formula over, it puts a 2.4 right there. Sales, we already know the answer to that one is going to be 0.5. So we take that times 0.5. That's the average we're using. Now again, for your marketing plan, you might need to use a different average. In your market, you might only be selling, 0.3, 30% of the statements you get are converting into sales, or maybe you're at 60, 70%. Whatever the number is, you would need to adjust that for your particular marketing plan. So now we would go through here again, and we would go insert one above, and we're going to put in here our actuals. Whoops. And for our sales. Okay. Now we have our actuals. Now we're going to go through and we're going to highlight these. Go like this. So now what I'm doing is, now again, I'm just highlighting these, and you'll see why when you actually try to use one of these plans, because it gets hard to realize which row you're looking at. Are you looking at the actuals, or are you looking at the projections? Okay, so we want to do that. Now we have all of this done here. Now we can key in our actual numbers each week. And then over here, we might want to put our totals. Now notice here, our total emails is actually not going to be the sum of all of these, but instead it's just going to be this one right here. It's going to be the most recent number. That's our total. At the end of that point, total number of email addresses we have. Then here, this would be more of a traditional one, equals the sum, and then we're going to highlight across. Whoops. And we see that we were able to get 4.4 leads. Copy and paste this here and here, and we see we were able to get 4.4 statements and 2.2 sales that during those 7 weeks from that right there. Now, one more I'm going to show you, and I don't think that any of you on this webinar today that I know of have a website engine that's generating leads for you, but I put it on here as website/blog. Okay, and here's how we track that one. We track it with traffic, or you could also put it in here as visits. Okay, you can track your visits through Google Analytics. If you go to google.com/analytics, you can see that there. I have a guy that, again, I don't make any money on this, but I have a guy who does do website development very inexpensively for about $200. You could have a very good working blog where you could be generating leads and you could be driving visits to your website. So we put in here visits, then we put in here leads, statements, and sales. Now the numbers that I use for this, let's say that during a particular month I've got 200 visits to my site. Usually I find that I'm going to get about 1% of the visits are going to turn into leads. Now that is going to really vary a lot depending on the type of visit that you're talking about. Most of the visits you get starting out are going to be from your email campaign, because what you're going to do is you're going to, when you create a blog article, you're going to send that out as an email, but you're just going to have the top portion, like the first paragraph, and then a little link that says read more. And that's how you're going to start to generate leads to your website, is people are going to click from your email to read the rest of your blog article. And then over along the side, you're going to have a contact us page, and people can put in there a contact us. But, and again, you also are going to get traffic from search engines. If you do blogging the right way and you're including local things, like, let's say that for me, my biggest city in the area is Altoona, Pennsylvania. So if I did a blog article, I would say, Altoona, Pennsylvania credit card processing mistakes, or the top 10 mistakes small business owners make in Altoona. Things like that. That's going to be eye-catching, and it's going to come up in the search results for people in my city. After about 3 or 4 months of doing that and posting blogs every couple weeks, you're putting a new blog article out there. You're sending out email updates when you make a new blog. You're going to start to generate traffic to your website. So as you generate traffic to your website, then those are going to convert into leads, some of them. And the way I do it is I just say this number here times 0.01. Oops, hold on one second here. Equals this one times 0.01. So we can see that that would generate 2 leads a week from 200 visits. Now, if you had a pay-per-click campaign, then you would expect to get a lead out of about every 40 to 60 visits to your website. If you're doing a pay-per-click campaign and you're actually paying them to get them on board, then you would expect to get a little bit higher than that. You expect to get out of 50, you're going to get a lead. So rather than out of 100. So anyway, then your statements, again, with these right here, you're pretty much always going to get a statement. So I have that the same number. And then the sales are always pretty much about the same. It's going to be 50%. So you're going to get 1 sale a week from your blog. Now, I'm not going to go through and add all the actuals. You guys know how to do that by now. But you can see here this plan. Now, we could even go down here if we wanted to, and we could do a totals down here. We could do maybe a total sales equals the sum of this one plus this one plus this one plus this one. And we can see that that week we would get 5 sales. 1 from our website, 1 from an email campaign, 1 from our telemarketing, and 2 from walking into businesses. So this is an example of a marketing plan. Now again, this marketing plan would change a lot. If you have somebody that's brand new starting out, then let me show you what a week would look like. If you have somebody that's brand new, you're just starting, you don't have an established customer base, this is what your numbers would look like. You would want to make probably an average of 100 new contacts a week, okay? 100 new contacts a week. Then, let me change this formula real quick here. We'll get rid of that. We'll mess with that in a minute. So you're going to get 5 sales. Get rid of these actual numbers. So you're going to get 5 sales that week just from your new contacts, okay? Then after the first week, you're probably going to drop down to about 80. Then you're probably going to drop down to about 70, then down to about 60, and then down to 50, and then you're going to stay at 50 for a while. So if you're a brand new agent starting out, then we're going to take here and your telemarketing. Now, if you use the telemarketing, you would additionally have these sales. But your email campaigns, you're going to have 0 emails, okay? So you can see right here what that would look like. It's going to be, it's going to be 10 to 20 weeks before you even get 1 lead off of your email campaign because you just don't have enough people to email yet. Same thing with your website. Your website's going to start out the first week with 0 visits. Then you might get 5 visits, and then maybe 10, and then maybe 15, et cetera, et cetera. So, your sales are going to be a lot shallower from here, but you can still get 5 sales a week up here. It's just that you're going to have to get all of them from walking in. But what should happen is if you're running your business correctly, then as you move forward with your business model, because your time is going to be taken up with all these other things, you should really be trying to build your email campaign and your website/blog so that will generate the leads that you need to make up for the time you're going to be spending out in the field, servicing customers, doing installations, and also spending more time with your family. The object here is that eventually you're going to have an engine that's creating residual revenue for you and also leads without you having to do quite as much work. Now, it might take you 2 to 3 years to get to the point where you really can start to take it easy, but you can definitely get to that point. By the time I was done doing full-time sales, I would easily be getting 20 or 30 leads a month from my website, from my email marketing, from referrals, things like that. Now, that's the only other one we didn't include in here. I do usually also put one in here for referrals. You get the idea of how to do it, but I put in here referrals, how many I expect to get, how many of those are going to give me a statement. Usually 60% of my referrals will give me a statement, maybe 65%. And then how many I'm going to sell, which of course would be 50%, maybe 60% because you have a little bit better trust with them. But I do also put a line in here for referrals, okay? So this is a marketing plan. Now, I hope that this was informative to you guys. I'm going to show you one other thing though before we're done with the call today. So first of all, take a little bit of time. Now you can see, we've been on this call for 30 minutes, and I basically have an entire marketing plan here for the next 7 weeks. So it doesn't take that long. And also keep in mind, when you get started, try to make your marketing plan about 4 weeks at a time. 1 month's worth of a marketing plan is good. Take the next 4 weeks, take August, right now, sit down, and we can get rid of all these right here. Let me get rid of these. We'll go to delete these. Let's go cut. Hold on one second here. There we go. All right. Delete these. If if you have not been doing this very long, then this right here should be the extent of your marketing plan. You should have the next 4 weeks planned out. Now, here's why I say that. The reason I say that is because so much is going to change in the next 4 weeks if you're just getting started. Or if this is the first time you've done a marketing plan, you really have no idea what your numbers are. So I would do 4 weeks. So sit down and do a 4-week plan. Guys, it might take you 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the most. It shouldn't take longer than that. And just sit down, follow the instructions. Again, I'm going to upload this webinar to the archive this evening so you can watch it again, create this, and then, that's an easy thing for you to do and to start to track your results. However, if you stop there, then that would be a mistake. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to my calendar here, and I'm going to get rid of all my events. So we have an open calendar here for the week. All right. Now let me show you what I would do here. Now we need to take our marketing plan. We have it labeled Marketing Plan 2. And I am going to minimize this. Hold on one second here. We're going to open up. Hopefully you guys can see these two. I'm going to put these two side by side to make it a little easier for us. Okay. All right. So on the right-hand side now, we have our marketing plan. And then on the left-hand side, we have our calendar. You're going to go in here and you're going to create the event. and then you're going to make that event for that entire time period. So if you were going to make an event from, say, 9 o'clock until noon, so you're going to spend 3 hours there, then maybe you say, I'm going to take an hour lunch, and then from 1 to 3, I'm going to go and visit new business owners. Now, there's other things that will have to fit into your schedule. You're going to have time for follow-up and things like that. And so you might even, move those times around a little bit. You might put in 1 hour in the morning from 8 to 9 to do follow-up. Then from 9 to 11, you're going to meet new business owners. From 11 to 12, you're going to do follow-up again. Then take lunch. Then from 1 to 3, you're going to finish up your new business owner visits or whatever you have to do. So you guys get the idea. But you need to take the new contacts and figure out, okay, how many hours is it going to take me to get that many new contacts, and then put those hours into your schedule for the week. Likewise, when you go down here, you have to do some follow-up because you're trying to get 10 statements. So you're going to have some time in there for follow-up. Probably you need a good hour to 2 hours a day for follow-up. Then you have your sales appointments. You're going to have to leave some flexibility in your schedule to follow up and make a sale. A sale will usually take you about 45 minutes in order to present the analysis and to do all the paperwork. That's normally going to take you 45 minutes. So each of these tasks has a certain amount of time that they're going to take. Making new contacts takes a lot of time. Getting a statement and following up over and over takes some time. Making sales takes some time. Okay, telemarketing. Now here is nice because you don't have to add anything to your schedule for the leads other than sign up for the telemarketing program. You need to put that in your calendar if you're going to do that and get it done today so that you can get started on it right away. But you are going to have to go out and meet these people. Now, it's not going to be a lot of time, but I would definitely plan if you're going to have 4 leads, you're probably going to spend an average of 20 minutes per lead, maybe 30. So you need to plan, okay, I need to have 4 30-minute blocks of time where, I have some flexibility in my schedule so I can go out and do that. And each day as you get the leads, you're going to have to look at your schedule and make adjustments. And you say, okay, today I got a lead from telemarketing, so I'm going to move 30 minutes out of my new business visit time, and I'm going to move that to a different time block. So it takes a lot of work, guys. It takes a lot of character and discipline to go through your schedule and really work these things into your schedule to make this plan a reality. And then also with these other things with your email and your website, a lot of guys think that just somehow happens. The only way you'll get that to happen is having it in your schedule, all right? Your email addresses. You need to have a reminder that pops up every morning before you go out to do your business visits that says, don't forget to get, 2 email addresses today. That should be on your goal sheet for the day. Get emails. Put that in your schedule that I've got to get emails today and remind yourself of that. Your website and your blog. If you want to have a successful website and blog, you have to write a blog article. Some of you, if you're like me, that happens to be a natural gift for me. I can sit down right now and write a blog article in 5 minutes. I can have my wife proofread it in another 10 minutes and we're done. Some of you guys, it would take you 2 or 3 hours to make a good blog article, and that's fine. That's well worth the investment to do that a couple times a month to write a really good blog article. It takes some time to think about a good title. A good title will catch somebody's attention, but it also has keywords in it that sound good for your market that people are going to be searching for. So it takes a lot of time to think about a good title. I probably spend 3 times as much time thinking of the title for my blog article as I do writing my blog. So, it's going to take some time. So maybe you would put 2-3 hours into your schedule every 2 weeks when you're going to sit down, you're going to think through, and you're going to write a blog article. Then you're going to publish the blog article. Then you're going to post links to that blog article on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you're going to send out an email campaign to update your email subscribers. You have to start doing that even when you only have 2 or 3 email subscribers. And then you just consistently do it as your email subscriber list grows. So making your marketing plan, entering it into your calendar. Now guys, I know this was a very practical webinar and I hope it wasn't too boring, but I really think that this would be a huge help to some of you guys that maybe you're trying to get some traction. Make a plan, then put that plan into your schedule, and that will really help you in a big way. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everybody off mute for a second here and see if we don't have anybody have any questions. You can either type your question down in the box below, or I'm going to go ahead and unmute the lines. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Yes. Is it okay if you share the documents?
Adriana, I'm sorry. I'm having a really hard time hearing you. Could you speak up a little bit? I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yes. I was asking if it's okay for us to share the document with you. Maybe you want to analyze the numbers and see whether you else who may be able to help us out with that?
Yes, absolutely. Let me mute your line for 1 second here so they can hear. But yeah, that's Adriana asked if you would like to share the document with me. That's actually something I was going to show you and I forgot. So thank you very much for reminding me of that. If you click share up here in the upper right hand corner, this is the main reason to use Google Docs in the first place. But if you click share up there, you can share this document with me. Let me just show you something. If you do share it with me, my actual Gmail account is actually, I set it up with my church email address. I'm a youth pastor in Altoona, thus altoonayouth@gmail. So if you want to share a spreadsheet with me, use that email address. It's altoonayouth@gmail.com. You could also add a message. You could say, you know, hey James, this is my new marketing plan. What do you think? Okay, and so then you could share that with me. All right, and so yeah, you can share this now. You could share that with me. I'd be happy to do that. In fact, I already have several agents that have done that, and they've already shared documents with me, and we track their progress together. However, one of the other things you could also do is you could share that with somebody else that you respect. There might be somebody else in your local community, somebody maybe at a community function that you're at, someone that you know. You might go to score.org and find a good advisor there, and you could share it with them. But yeah, I would definitely recommend sharing that with someone else that's really going to help. Yes, I am going to upload this webinar to answer your question, Jeff. We are going to upload this webinar to the archive a little later on. All right, I'm going to unmute the lines again. Does anybody else have a question for me? Thank you for that one, Adriana. Anybody else? Anybody else got a question? If you have one, you can either type it down here in the message box, or you can just ask me the question. We've got an agent to access our archive, but all right. Well, hey, thanks everybody so much for being on the webinar today. Again, I'll get this one posted up very shortly, and I appreciate your time. You all have a great day today.